Connecting.
Today we are not just exploring nullsec, we're also hunting our fellow explorers.
Warp drive active.
We're going to start in this little system where I logged out. There was a good number of cosmic signatures here that I'm interested in. But today is different. We're in the Stratios. It's a beautiful exploration cruiser from the Sisters of Eve. And real quick, we'll just take a look at the fitting. I don't normally do this. I always forget this, but this is important to people. We'll start with the high power stuff. This is a cruiser, but we're using the covert ops cloaking device too. The Sisters core scanner probe and probe launcher. 2 medium energy neutralizer 2s. I don't know if I was supposed to use 3 or whatever. I'm not claiming this is the perfect fit. This is my first fit, and I think it's enough to at least keep me alive out here. So the micro warp drive 2, initiated compact warp scrambler, and a stasis webifier 2, a large capacitor battery 2, and a relic analyzer 2, which I'm not just out here hunting explorers, okay? I'm also, look, I've in my hunt for explorers, I've already salvaged 218 million ISK worth of stuff out here, so it's been worth my time just being out here, even though I haven't killed anything yet. Damage control 2 in the low slot. 2 energized adaptive nanomembrane 2s, a drone damage amplifier 2, and a reactive armor hardener. And as you can see over here in my drone bay, I've got 21 drones, full flights of all these different drones. The electronic warfare drones are good for getting you out of a situation that maybe you shouldn't have been in the first place. They're basically pocket sand. You release those drones and then you warp out. Those are my lifeline. And the geckos, I believe, are these guys do my damage. So when I do catch someone and attack them, I'm gonna open with geckos. Alright, so we will decloak. And the cloak timer is not as great on the Stratios, so you have to plan your cloaking a little better. But still, it is a capable ship. And you do not want to get caught with this ship out in space. I was tracking someone yesterday, hunting him, and he knew I was doing it, and so he did not decloak. I was hanging out on the relic site, and this guy just had more patience than me. I left this system and came back a couple of times trying to catch him with his pants down, but he knew better. So before I go making any more bookmarks, I'm just gonna empty the bookmarks I made. Actually, there's a bunch in the system, aren't there? Are these still good? Okay, that one's not good. Central improved. Let's see. I just want the
warp drive.
Okay,
active.
Yeah, none of these are good anymore. They're all pretty much expired. So we'll remove them. And we're starting fresh. The probe scanner window is so good nowadays. They made huge strides to fix this. Now this is a default vanilla installation of EVE Online. I just I just reinstalled Windows 10 because I got virtual reality, but the lighthouses weren't turning themselves off. My space was full, and I could tell that some installation was corrupted. It's somewhere along the line, and you know, but at least Windows finally figured out that people like to reinstall Windows, and they finally made it easy to do so after how many iterations of that fucking software. At least now we can easily reinstall it without having to pirate it or, you know, call the company to find out what the key was, which they would never tell you that anyway. They want you to buy a new license. I mean, they really wanted people to buy a new license every time they reinstalled that shit. That's how institutional they were. They were, you know, they were allowed to get away with that for so long. I'm glad that that's over. We're actually at a point now where, I mean, it's crazy to think that Linux is easier to deal with now than Windows ever was, but I mean, we've actually crossed that threshold now, and there is no operating system. Maybe iOS or whatever it's called on Mac is the only thing that is as easy as Linux Mint is right now. So I'm having a bit of trouble scanning any of these signatures. I think I'm doing it wrong. So I just bumped the mic. This microphone, it's not. See, the old one was in a mic stand, and I think I'm gonna have to go back to that. I'm gonna get like a desk-mounted mic stand for the podcast as well. So, all right. It's usually the signature that's farther away from you. See there? Yeah. After you do this long enough, you just get a feeling for which is the right one. Getting a lot of tweets. Oh. See, my buddy Chandler is, he's pretending to be a Russian, like a right-wing Russian troll bot. And so he provokes a lot of responses on Twitter, and then I get roped into those threads. Oh, here's somebody in local. Let's call the probes home, and let's just see what this fucker does. Oh, I'm too far away from the Stargates to really know what he might be up to. He's with Goon Swarm. Those guys always have backup anywhere they go. They can't just go out on their own. Okay, he's gone again. So that's, you know, a bit of an inconvenience. We have to reload the probes, relaunch them. They seem to be in the same place where I left them on the map here, so at least there's that. So you can still do the cloak and micro warp drive trick in this ship. Anything that has it. We're ignoring combat sites because I'm only trying to catch explorers. I'm not interested in catching somebody in a, you know, a Vex or doing nullsec combat sites. I don't really care about that. I want the hundreds of millions of ISK worth of intact armor plates these explorers are carrying around through here. I've been finding a lot myself, so I know that they're out here. Right, without changing the scan resolution, I'm just gonna scan this again and see what happens. We get some weird results here, and I feel like they've changed the scanning mechanism somewhat without cluing everybody into it. So again, it's the same thing where it's the one that's farther away. Once you jump down a notch in resolution, it's usually when you get this double result, it's the one that's outside your scan radius after decreasing your resolution. And then you scan it, and sometimes you find this is the final scan right here. There might be one more after this. Yeah. One more to find the data site. And we don't have a data analyzer. So we do have to we don't ignore the data sites because we want to bookmark those in case another explorer comes through here and attempts that data site. I can just have this bookmarked and ready to go. So now I should have 2 in my temporary, yeah. Okay. So we go back up to 8 astronomical units, and we'll just start scanning a different signature. And one thing that used to happen was if you clicked these, the other ones they wouldn't like disappear, but it was easier to tell which one you were looking at. So they did change that just a little bit. But now it's the one that has a circle around it. That's to indicate that it's the currently selected one. Okay. So maybe what I was doing before was I wasn't actually attempting to scan the one I meant to scan the one that I had selected. I don't know. I really don't know. Did I already bump it down a notch? I can't remember. Yeah, the new scanning window is great because you can see space and your map at the same time. I used to do everything like just with the map open. I would do sites just by using the overview on the map screen, so sometimes I wouldn't even see the site I was doing. I would just warp around to the different cans, hack them with my map open. I mean, if nobody's in local, and you're not really in danger anyway. Okay, just a lot of data sites here. This is like last night. There was just a lot of data sites. Right, so now that there's only a few left, I'm gonna do it like this, where I sort of get them all in the center like that, and then start scanning the ones that resolve the best. And I think I was doing it like this, maybe like sorting them by strength, yeah. And then I could only go to the top one. Okay. I got a new mouse too, and it's a very good mouse, the Logitech G502 or something. It's their flagship wired mouse. It's great. There's little weights in it. I haven't added any weights to it. I'm thinking about getting a mouse pad though. So before I wear out the paint on this desk in front of me. It's only a matter of time. Okay, combat site, we're just gonna ignore it. they added, they increased the volume of a lot of the user interface elements, which gets kind of annoying. So I turn it way down to where I can just barely hear it. And then it behaves a little bit more the way it used to. You really, I mean, for these actions that you perform like hundreds of times in a session, you really don't need a sound effect for that every single time. You know, it's like it becomes less immersive, and it's one of the, like the only things that you notice. So you really need to turn that down. This ping that's almost like being on a submarine when you use your directional scanner is equally annoying, and it actually kind of hurts my ears, I guess because the frequency or something. I've done damage to my ears from playing in bands and stuff, and it's just, you know, it's not for me. So I turn those way down, but I leave everything else at the defaults because I like to have the game like the way the creators sort of push it out. I haven't done anything to my overview. This is still the default. I've got a mining tab, you know, I'm not a miner. I should have an exploration tab. Okay, and that's just another combat site, so we're going to recover those. There's just 3 data sites here of interest, which is not really anything. We're going to take a look at the map, and I'm in a good little pocket out here, so I've just been going back and forth around this quiet area. I'm going back to this particularly quiet spot that I was in last night, where I was finding both good spots and explorers.
Warp drive active.
And all right, so I'm just gonna cloak because I really want to be as like I want to be less obvious now than when I was in a buzzard. Even though I was more vulnerable in a buzzard, I want the element of surprise over my enemy in the Stratios. That's the main difference I'm finding, is that when you're in this ship, you want even fewer people to know what you're in than if you're out in a buzzard or something. Because yeah, a buzzard is, you know, catching one of those is like catching a unicorn, right? But this is like seeing a unicorn that can kill you. Which I don't know if unicorns are by default are killers. Like they've got that horn for a reason, right? But this is just you want to stay hidden in this because in the chance that you do meet an enemy, you want to be ready for them. All right, we're just gonna skip this star system because it's populated.
Warp drive active.
So there, I cloaked instantly. And if I do change my overview, I'm going back to Sarashawa because they just updated that. You can go on Reddit, and the guy that maintains that overview setting just updated it. And everybody was saying use ZS now because Sarashawa is not maintained or something, or ZS is better, but I think Sarashawa is better, and I was happy to see that it's still being maintained. So I just launched my probes and cloaked at the same time. I like to do that right on the gate if there's nobody in the system, because then if somebody does come through, I actually get to see them on my overview, what they're in and who they are. So that's always good. And I'll even look back at, see there, now we're looking back in the direction of it. Alright, so we'll get to see it light up and make electric sounds if somebody tries to come through. Just cataloging the data sites is basically all that we're doing. This might be a waste of time. Maybe I should only be cataloging relic sites, or just hacking relics and then finding other explorers. I don't know, but the idea is that I come back through here and I catch someone exploring the site. And I keep my focus around a single constellation. And if I'm just, you know, hanging around the constellation, I've got everything mapped out that would be of any interest to an explorer, and I know my way around it pretty quickly. What with my bookmarks and everything. See, you could still hear the user interface even though I've got it turned way down. Like, that's definitely enough. What do I have it set at? 10. And then I've got the master turned down even more, so it's like 3%. Alright, here's a relic site. We're gonna catalog the relic site, but I'm also just gonna hack it right away. Because, I mean, there's quicker money in that. But if somebody comes through, I'd love to kill them on it. I will scan the other site down first before going to the relic site. I will align to the relic site now, so that I'm ready to warp as soon as I scan the final signature right here. The ruined Sancha, whatever. It doesn't say when you tooltip over it. You know, they added these tooltips, and then the one, you know, it's been years now, and then a good opportunity to use it would be to see the full name of something obfuscated in your menu, and yet it tells you what a relic site is or something. Like, oh, okay. Like you didn't know that. Combat site, ignore, call those probes home. Warp to the relic
Warp
site.
drive active.
Ruin Sancha Science Outpost. Alright, I think these are good. I think this is where you get the intact armor plates. Another drawback to this is that we don't have a... Okay, look, somebody's been here because they hacked one of the ruins already. We don't have a scanner to scan the contents of these cans from a distance, so I'm left kind of having to hack them all. And what ends up happening is I think somebody that did have a scanner probably got the the one can that has intact armor plates here and left. I mean, we don't know that for sure. Maybe somebody came in and scared him. So who knows what we might find. And of course, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm watching local. You gotta watch local like as much as you watch your own screen, if not more. Yeah, I bet he came in and got the intact armor plates, but that's okay. Or she. Could have been a lady, explorer. Ladies can be explorers too. It is a beautiful ship though, isn't it? Yeah, there was one there. Now we have 6 million. Done. Okay, I believe that was our only relic here. Yeah, it was. So, we move on to the next star system. I notice there's a bunch of gates here, so I'm just gonna look and see if there's any valuable detours. No, it looks like there's just one main way that I want to go, unless I want to do this one detour here, which I do. So we're gonna do that first.
Warp drive active.
It's one of those one way in, one way out star systems. And I think they're a lot of fun. somebody already in here? We don't know what he's doing. He could be docked. We're gonna align to it. And just see what we can see. Where am I? I'm way out here. Coming awfully close to that Stargate. But now I'm moving away from it again. Dude, there's some ugly fighting. On Twitter right now. Living, breathing fuel blocks. I've seen these guys around here. This alliance. I need to delete that relic site from my... Since I did it, it's no longer there. Okay, we got it. Save it.
Warp drive active.
I'm warping to that structure, the station. I'm curious to see whether the guy is hanging around at it, or anywhere in space for that matter. I only see my probes out here. I just went through a planet. CAC Vegas. Okay, I'm probably not allowed in there. But I will park at it, and I'll orbit it. Okay, it's a wormhole. I like to catalog the wormholes too because they can be my escape or someone else's. We'll take a look at the wormhole and see if it goes anywhere interesting. You know, if it goes to high sec, I'll drop this stuff off and come back through it.
Warp drive active.
Relic site. Okay, it goes to low sec. And it's fresh. Wormhole to low sec. We'll be more specific. Paragon Soul to low sec. Call the probes home. Save that relic site. And we're gonna go into the wormhole. And just see what happens. How far from the trade hubs am I? Oh, dude, I'm only 6 jumps from Omar. Okay, so I'm going to Omar. Then I'm gonna drop some of this stuff off, and then we'll come back here. Did I bookmark it? Yes, I did.
Warp drive active.
And we are at war. I'm in factional warfare, so there could be enemies at the gates. Still, as long as you instantly cloak, you should be fine. And we're gonna go right back through that wormhole because it's a good wormhole. At least now, if something happens, I've paid for the ship with salvage.
Warp drive active. We'll call it here and make a second video for the return to null sec.